Enough, and boy, I've been sick to my fucking stomach watching you imbeciles type things. Stop typing. You niggas are stupid.
How y'all doing? This is Mongo Slade, and we're going to talk today about 50 Cent and his threat to vote for Trump after seeing Joe Biden's tax policy. So this is what 50 Cent tweeted out. What the fuck? Vote for Trump. I'm out. Fuck New York. The Knicks never win anyway. I don't care if Trump doesn't like black people. 62%, are you out of your fucking mind? And there's a screenshot of 50 Cent apparently watching maybe CNBC or Fox Business, and it has the top tax rate by state under Joe Biden's plan. And 50 Cent quoted the New York City tax, which is 62%. Now, of course, we all know 50 Cent will not pay 62% of his income in taxes. There will be all sorts of deductions and you know, beat arounds and all that type of sort of thing. But here's the big issue. Rich people, black or white, male or female, gay or straight, Jew or Gentile, they do not exist to power utopia. They are not the batteries for your utopia. They are not the long what's those the circuit breakers, the storm breakers. What the fuck are they called? Where you just plug in 100 TVs and light bulbs and lamps and stuff into them. That's not what rich people are for your town. As you just start plugging in healthcare and schools and roads and everything into them, and all of a sudden they just operate just to pay for other people's stuff. That is not what they are for. That is making people subservient to the state. People are not slaves to the state. They are not. And there seems to be this belief that people should be. You know, of course, 50 Cent got a lot of backlash for this. There's nothing about 52. There's nothing about 50 Cent's personality that will let you think that he's going to just sit idly by and be okay with you taking 62% of his income. In the New York State is 58%. That's absolutely insane. And yes, I know that a lot of this is symbolic. They'll never really actually pay those taxes. They've been doing that in history for a long time. They'll say, oh, the tax rate's 90%, and then they'll give you 100 million deductions. So you really don't pay that. But it's class warfare where people think that that's fair, that you can take 62% of somebody's wealth, even if you try to backdoor ways out of it. Just telling other people, oh yeah, we're going to take all of a huge chunk of their money. That's damaging. That's incredibly psychologically damaging. For starters, we see how people react, right? If the tax rate was like 2%, people would be like, oh, we're not taxing them nearly enough. It's like, how much of your stuff are you willing to give up? Can I go into your house and take 2% of your shit? Can I take 2% of your shit? So why the hell are you trying to justify taking 62% of somebody else's shit? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But it makes perfect sense if you think that people work at the behest of the state. If you think people work at the glory of the state, then you see this as the state made you rich, so you should be able to go in. It's like, no. And then, but here's my question. See, on the screen, there's California, New Jersey, New York State, New York City, right? These are the tax plans. California, 62.6%. Ridiculous. New Jersey, 60%. New York State, 58%. New York City, 62%. What is so special about these places where you would think that once taxes get above, let's say 20%, once taxes get above 20%, you should move everything to fucking Iowa at that point. Why are you're just paying for the luxury of being in New York? What are you doing in New York that it can't be done out of Delaware? Even though I'm pretty sure Delaware also probably has high taxes. They're probably sure the whole East Coast can. But why can't you do it out of Wyoming? Why can't you do it out of one of the Dakotas, out of Mississippi or something? You're paying. It's like when you go to the grocery store and you see Spartan brand green beans and then Hungry Giant green beans. It's like it should be theoretically the same thing, right? Theoretically, it should be the same thing. But some people are so enamored with name brands that they're willing to pay $1 or more for something. That's what people who live in New York and California are doing. You're willing to pay just for the right to say, I operate out of California or I operate out of New York. Are you telling me that your business is going to somehow be less profitable if it operates out of Wyoming or Idaho. Now you may say, well, there's not a lot of, young people in these areas, people with proper education and stuff like that. If you become a magnet where you go there and you stick your flag in the ground and you maybe say, hey, young people can move to this town or this city or whatever, this state. And if enough people do it, if enough people pull out of New York, that will change. Okay? You don't have to, and that's why they can justify taxing people at this rate. Because this is New York, pal. It's like, no. This is absolutely ridiculous. And there's nothing about 50 Cent that says that he would let that happen, that he'll be okay with that. 50 Cent is sort of like somebody said he's basically the black Donald Trump already anyway. As far as him being offensive and in your face. Then yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. But this idea that people are subservient to the state is absolutely untrue. And it's also a lot of people who don't understand that the economy is a chain. You cannot willfully take from just using Jeff Bezos as an example. I said this before. If you decide that you're going to tax Jeff Bezos at whatever percent, he's just going to kick those taxes down to his customers. And guess what? There are millions of small businesses that rely on Amazon. Believe it or not, there are tons of people who order materials from Amazon, and the cost of their materials will go up if Jeff Bezos' taxes go up, if Amazon's taxes go up. Because he already has hundreds of people plugged into, if you look at it like an outlet, there's already 1,000 cords sticking out of Jeff Bezos. They're called employees, people who actually actively work for Amazon, who rely on him for a paycheck, for health care. He pays them for not working. They could go home and have a baby or whatever and not work. All that type of stuff. He already has all these different plugs into him. And now they want to come along and shove health care into his chest. You have to pay for everybody's health care, not just the people who work for you, but everybody in the state, everybody in the county. It's like, God damn. Why you give these people, and this is the crazy thing, like, you want to give people all of this responsibility. No fucking authority whatsoever. No fucking authority. Back when the Constitution was written, only landowners could vote because they had all of the responsibilities. They didn't give authority to people who had no responsibility, which is our problem today, is that you have a bunch of people who, you're not going to make it out a lot of money. Why are you so upset? Because you don't have a sense of justice. You don't have a sense of fairness. It's not fucking fair that you're going to tell somebody you're going to take 62% of what they earned. That's fucking stupid. I don't want to live in that world where that's okay. Well, I'm going to take 62% of your shit. Because if you can justify that to them, shit, I got to be next. I got to be. 62% of nothing is still nothing, but that's not the point. But the big picture is that these people do not exist to power your state. It's unfair. It's unfair. And I see a lot of people, like going back to what I just said about a lot of people who don't make the money that, a guy like 50 Cent would make. And they would say to anybody who, like somebody like me, they would say, well, you're not going to pay that. Why do you care? And it's like, again, the economy is a chain. I don't purchase any of 50 Cent's properties or anything like that. But he's just one of many people that this would affect. And who knows, I might purchase something from somebody else who is affected by this tax rate. Okay? That's a different thing. Completely different. But this is why, they said no taxation without representation. This is why the country was started on that. Because the king could just think that he could just tax whatever he wants and you're not allowed to disagree with him. It's the same situation here. Who is representing the rich other than them representing themselves? And they're not outvoted because there's so many different poor people. There's a diversity of poor people. There's working poor. There's flat out homeless people. There's the working poor. There's single class, single families. There's all types of different types of poor people. There's just an innumerate number of poor people. And if you give all those people the authority to take from somebody else, they will, and then gleefully do so, and then justify it by saying, "Well, I'm poor, I don't have the money," and then relieving themselves of their responsibility to take care of themselves. That's not what you want. You shouldn't want that in society. You shouldn't want large swaths of people who are perfectly capable of dealing and working and doing something for themselves, basically giving up and saying, well, if I just take something from somebody else, then I don't have to work. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's terrible, man. That's terrible. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel if you can, and I'll talk to you guys later.